Hello and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated to CBS's Big Brother Season 22 All-Stars. Now, just like my previous videos, I'm going to do a review and recap on the most recent episode of Big Brother and then give a handle going into live feed updates. Now, there's not a ton to go over in the episode or live feed updates, but I do have the veto winner and the thought process of what's going to happen for the rest of the week. So when we get there, I'll do a hand signal and then you can shut it off if you do not want to be spoiled on the veto or what's going to happen Thursday or Wednesday night. But let's start off where last episode left off, and that was Memphis being evicted by a vote of 2-0, and everybody's just waiting on bated breath to play night moves for the next HOH, and somebody is going to earn their spot in the top 3 of this season and then get to nominate somebody, but really all the power is held by the veto winner of this week. But now let's go into night moves, and this was about 20 minutes of the episode. Now there's not a ton of stuff happening, as the rest of this episode was mainly filler with minimal strategy talk and mainly this HOH comp. And when I say this HOH comp was 20 minutes, ideally, we got 30 minutes of both Christmas and Cody just talking about how frustrated they were with Enzo and his strategy in this game. Both people think that Enzo is on their side and that he is going to help bottle or trap the other person and get them out of the game. But Enzo has some different strategy altogether, and that is while Christmas and Cody are over there battling it out, he's going to be on the other side of the board with all the moves that he could ever want and setting himself up nicely to possibly win this HOH competition. Now, I see it from both angles. Now, if you're Cody, you're thinking to Enzo, hey, we've been playing this game together since day one. We've had each other's backs. Why are you playing Switzerland? Why are you playing on the fence still? This is the point of the game where you have to start making the moves, and if you're going to stay on the fence, then you're kind of picking a side of you don't really care about me. And then if you're Enzo, you're kind of thinking, hey, we are in the top 4. This is for you to secure a spot in the final 3, and why would I jeopardize that by trying to get somebody else out when I don't even know what's going to happen this week? This week comes down to one person and one person only, and that is the veto holder. And you can't guarantee that just because you get Christmas out that she won't win the veto and take out you, or if Cody wins HOH that he's not going to put you up. And then what happens if Nicole wins the veto and she stays off the block to where now she's the sole vote? Enzo doesn't feel comfortable whatsoever. So at this point in the game, he's not picking any sides, which is picking a side, and that is his side. And luckily it worked out for him if you're Enzo, because you won. Enzo at this point has done enough to get to the end of the game, but did he do enough to warrant the jury to vote for him to win against anybody still left in the game? That's the big question that I have on my mind. I think he's done a lot of talking. He's told people what they want to hear, which got him past all these weeks without being put up on the block. But when push comes to shove, when people are going to start asking him questions about his game, will he be able to back it up and prove that he deserves this win, that he made the moves? I just don't see it happening, especially with who's left in the game. Maybe it's Christmas. If he was sitting next to somebody, he would want to sit next to Christmas since she's burned a lot of the jury and they played a very similar game. But if he's up there against possibly Cody or Nicole, I just don't know if he can really sell his game to the jury. But we have to wait and see what's going to happen with the rest of this week. Like I said, the rest of this episode was a lot of filler, talking about Cody's insecurities with his nose, getting to hear Enzo's letter from home, which he didn't even cry from. So there was a lot just padding to this episode because, hey, there's not a lot going on. I mean, even Enzo at one point was saying it doesn't matter who he puts up because it all comes down to who's going to win the veto. I think Big Brother was really trying to push a narrative with the whole night move situation, with everybody being pissed off with Enzo and then him winning HOH and him in the diary room being, again, talking a lot of games, saying I could do whatever I want. I can even put up Cody, take his streak of not being put up on the block down from him. So what you're trying to say right now at this moment, Enzo is going to flip 180 degrees and be unpredictable when in fact he's been predictable this whole game and had Cody's back the whole game. You just think he's all of a sudden going to be like, all right, Final Four, I'm going to switch it up and actually start making moves. That's a false. I mean, once I heard on the blogs and on social media that Enzo won, I knew 100% without a doubt that he was going to put up Christmas and Nicole, and he was going to keep Cody off the block. Yet, after he wins and before the nomination, he's talking to Christmas saying how he wants her to stay in this game and that he 100% wants to be at the finals with her. And then he's saying the same thing to Cody. And it's kind of like, why? Why are you doing this at this point? That's so much unnecessary lying that by the time possibly Christmas could be heading to the jury, that she could be burned and talk all this stuff about how Enzo said all this stuff to her, and then all the rest of the jury is going like, yeah, he said the same thing to me, and now he's sitting in there not with any of us. So why should we give him the vote when all he does is talk, but not walk the walk? Anyways, we get down to the nomination ceremony, and of course he puts up Christmas and Nicole, but that is it for this episode. What do you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. But now let's go into the live feed updates. And if you do not want to know who won the veto, turn this off now because I'm about to say that the veto winner for this episode, the winner of the most powerful veto of this season, and who's going to hold the sole vote on Thursday night is Cody. So Cody has locked in his spot in the top 3. And at this point, Nicole has locked in her spot in the top 3 because there's no way Cody is going to vote to keep Christmas in this game. It just does not work out for him. She's already pissed about what happened in the Night Moves competition. He already put her up when he was HOH one of like the 4 times he was HOH. And they've just been like heated, and she's the only one that he does not have a final 2 deal with. At this point, Cody has a final 2 deal with Nicole, who will gladly take him to the end, and the same thing with Enzo, because Enzo does not trust Nicole whatsoever, so he wants to go to the final 2 with Cody, which is terrible strategy on both their ends, but it's a good spot for Cody to be in, and it looks as though that Christmas is going to be voted out. It's almost 110% guarantee, barring anything crazy happening, but I'm 110% guaranteeing that Cody will be voting out Christmas on Thursday. This game needs to hurry up. This is the Final Four. We need to just pick this thing up and roll with it. We don't need to wait the rest of the week for Cody to like stand up, point at Christmas and say, I'm voting to evict you. It's just taking way too long. We already know what's gonna happen. Let's just get this eviction going on right now, tonight. Let's get a surprise eviction going on because nothing's gonna change in this week. And let's just get this thing going because next Wednesday seems like it's gonna take forever to get to because this is just taking a long time. But earlier in the week, like near the nomination ceremony and right before the veto, there was a lot of tension happening within the house. Christmas and Cody were very like stiff. They were worried about who could win the veto because this is the most powerful veto in the whole game. And then once the veto was played and pretty much everything is set in stone, people have gotten to actually sit back and relax, and they were actually talking about the game the other night over some fish and crab and zucchini. So it seems as though the house is a little bit lighter in emotion since everybody knows exactly what's going to happen. Christmas knows that she's going to be going to the jury and being reunited with her boo thing, Memphis. Ugh, that's so gross. And then Nicole knows that she's going to be in the final 3. Cody's already looking to the final 3 competition for the last HOH, and Enzo's just been chilling out the whole time knowing that he's going to make it into the final 3. So that's it for this episode. That's it for this video. I mean, nothing else is really happening. No more strategy talk needs to happen because it's all set in stone. I mean, Cody's definitely going to keep Nicole in this game and take out Christmas. Thursday can't come quick enough, in my opinion. But what do you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. What do you think about hearing Cody won the final veto of the season? Let me know that in the comment section below. And do you think he should take out Nicole or Christmas? Let me know that in the comment section below. But thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more Big Brother content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.